You knew he was doing that just to you. That is correct. The Dallas Cowboys last made a conference championship in 1995. That is the happiest Hembo has ever been to have someone get one of his questions right. Meanwhile, let us run our way through a few calls that need to be made in the upcoming NFL draft, and we'll get to the Cowboys in a minute. But, Jeff, I'll start with you. Zach Wilson or Justin Fields at number 2? Who you got?
I'm going Justin Fields. Listen, this guy, he's got 80-plus touchdowns in college, 9 interceptions. This guy continues to impress me. I had him right under Trevor Lawrence before the season, after the season. I don't care whatever else is telling me in the draft. This kid passes the eyeball test. He continues to do things that amaze me, running the 4.4. He's 6'3", 230 or 225, whatever he is. This is a grown man, great quarterback. I take him too.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say that, and yet that's not what's going to happen. Meanwhile, Swagoo, should the Falcons draft a quarterback at 4, or should they trade down?
Draft the QB. Listen, Matt Ryan is no spring chicken, still playing really good, but you need to start looking into the future. You don't want to be in a situation a lot of these organizations are in, or franchises, when they've kept their guy too long without a succession plan. I know we hate that Green Bay did it, and we also hate that Pittsburgh doesn't have one. So where do you want to be, Atlanta?
I think that's fair. And then back to those Cowboys we talked about. Matt, if they trade the Cowboys, if Atlanta's open for business, should the Cowboys trade up for Kyle Pitts or draft a defensive player?
Greeny, we've become good friends. You know what I'm going to say. You trade up for Kyle Pitts if you can get him. I said it last week. This will be the best offense in the NFC if Kyle Pitts is there with Amari Cooper, all the talent they have, Michael Gallup, Ezekiel Elliott, Dak Prescott come back healthy. I know what my lineman friends are going to say here. They have 10 picks in this draft class, guys. 10 picks. Remember that before you roast me here.
So Matt Miller, draft expert, says the Dallas Cowboys should trade up to take Kyle Pitts. What does Jeff Saturday say?
Matt, you are high. That's what I'm going to tell you. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. You've been down there with Jerry. You're in Jerry's world. I don't know what is going on. You don't trade up from 10 to 4. You sit at 10. And, hey, by the way, I'm going to jump on the O-line love. Wait for Slater, who was going to be there at 10, and have your next tackle after Smith leaves or Collins can't get healthy or bump him into guard. You got a 10-year guy. They're going to be an incredible offense anyway. They were on pace for 6,000 yards last year before. You don't need that addition, man. Don't trade the picks away. Keep sliding where you are and make it happen with another good player.
Now, Slater is Rashawn Slater, the tackle out of Northwestern, who does figure to be there at number 10 if that's the direction they want to go. Let me bring in the former Cowboy on this. Marcus Spears, where do you stand?
Listen, last week they put up a graphic, G, on NFL Live and said Kyle Pitts, 91% of Kyle Pitts catches were a first down or a touchdown. And I jokingly tweeted, ooh, do I have to rethink this trade-up thing? The answer is hell no. You do not trade up for Kyle Pitts. You solidify this offensive line, right? If you go on offense, I'm with Jeff. You solidify this offensive line. From a defensive standpoint, it holds the field. And if you think Surtain or J.C. Horn is a corner opposite of Diggs where you can have two guys playing at a top level, absolutely you make that move. But to go get Kyle Pitts, to me, not only to go get him, but to trade up and you're going to lose some capital in order to go up, doesn't make sense, especially to that point. And I believe Dak threw for 5,000 yards the year before last year. So this offense has been pretty good from that standpoint. They need to figure out how to stop people. Did we not watch the Super Bowl?
Go ahead, Diana.
Yeah, defense. That's what I'm hearing in terms of their focus. And guys, we've seen Jerry Jones in the past make a lot of trades on draft day. He's done it. But I think if there would be a trade involving Dallas, it'd be in the later rounds, second, third, fourth, to get more picks. You know, perhaps we could see a similar play that the Panthers made in 2019. Remember when they just cleared it all out, went defense all across the board? This is something that Dallas could perhaps do. I know they need an offensive lineman as well, but really, when you talk Dallas, their one Achilles heel at this point is this defense.
And Matt Miller, welcome to the club. Once again, we have christened you on the program now. You
I'm sorry,
haven't
you're
really
trying to
been
have
on
fun.
Get Up
Yeah.
until Jeff Saturday has called you hot. So you shouldn't feel bad about that at all. And again, I'll give you the final word on this because everyone disagrees with you.
That's okay. I'm the new guy. Everybody gets to disagree. No, offensive line is a huge priority. I do think they need to address the defense. You guys know how much I love Kyle Pitts, though. So if you have an opportunity to get a player who I've talked to people around the NFL, they say if anyone in this class is going to be an All-Pro rookie year, it is Kyle Pitts. So you could ask me any team, should they trade up for Kyle Pitts? My answer is probably going to be yes at this point.
Yeah. Go ahead, Diana.
Everybody loves Kyle Pitts. Everybody loves Kyle Pitts. He's like the Giselle of the supermodel world. Like if you could get it, you want it. But he's not going to be there once Dallas is on the clock.
No.
I mean, the question is, does he wind up going at 4? And if not, then how far does it potentially slide? All right, fascinating. Now let's talk about a guy who once upon a time was kind of like that, the receiver everybody was dying for. And now rumors continue to swirl around Odell Beckham Jr. and his future in Cleveland. While the Browns insist OBJ is part of their plans, listen to Cleveland.com's Mary Kay Cabot talking about his future.
I don't think that there will be a trade partner for him out there. I think he's going to be on the team this season. But I would also say that I am believing that Odell and Jarvis are going to be the two main receivers this year. If someone did come and make an offer, still think that they would listen to it. I don't think they're 100% locked in to having to have him on the team this year.
Diana, pick it up from there and run with it. What are you hearing about Odell Beckham Jr.?
Yeah, Mary Kay is a fantastic beat reporter in Cleveland. She's been doing it for decades. And I'm just going to add a layer to what she's saying here, which is Cleveland would answer the phone. They would discuss this with teams if they could get a trade partner for Odell Beckham Jr. But I did talk to sources in Cleveland about this happening, perhaps now, maybe closer to the draft. Is this something that they're talking about? Is this an agenda for them? And the sense I get is no. They're not looking to trade Odell Beckham Jr. This is a player that they know is dynamic. He's made Baker Mayfield better. He's a big part of this offense. But it is one of those things. If somebody is willing to give a good amount up for Odell, I definitely believe Cleveland will listen.
Marcus, what do you think?
Listen, man, you don't trade away Odell Beckham Jr. and that talent. But there's a but to this. I think the injuries are starting to creep into some of the conversation. And if a team is justifying moving on, that would be the reason, just the inconsistency of having him on the field. But production and what he does when he's on the field, man, you don't get rid of that. We are talking about this league. We just came off the conversation with Kyle Pitts. Guys that can absolutely change a game in a matter of a play or two. That's still OBJ. That's still Odell Beckham Jr. So I think teams would be interested in trading for him. I think Cleveland would be crazy to trade him. So I believe he'll be in Cleveland. But if somebody comes with a big enough haul that's enticing enough, I think the injuries will come into thought, which may make Cleveland make the move.
Go ahead, Diana.
Marcus, I just wanted to add a little bit to that because I do agree with you in terms of Odell Beckham's skill set and what he can do. We've seen the highlight rips. But I was calling around last night just to try to get an idea. Maybe there's a team out there who is actually in on him. And I had one head coach, and he said this a little tongue-in-cheek, but he's like, wait, what team does Odell play for again? And he didn't mean that disrespectfully. He just meant it because Odell has dealt with so many injuries, and he's not the same kind of guy we saw when he was, in New York, where he was having some success there with Eli at one point. So I think the steam around Odell is obviously changed over the years as he is getting older and dealing with these injuries. But I know Odell will definitely see this. He will put this on Instagram and come back better than ever because we know what motivates him, and that's people criticizing his game.
Right, we'll see. And the reality is it's kind of hard to mean that respectfully. So I don't know if he didn't mean it disrespectfully. I'd hate to hear what his respectful thoughts are. Go ahead, Jeff.
Yeah, listen, I think this is a perfect situation for the Browns, right? Is OBJ, whether it's because of injuries or just natural maturation process for OBJ, you're not hearing anything about him in a negative light, which usually in the offseason there's some kind of stir, there's some kind of issue. You kind of have all these conversations. I think with he and Landry, this is